Battle of the Brains, presented by Invest 529, Central Virginia's high school academic quiz show. Today's match features Blacksburg High School versus Jamestown High School. Let's play.
Hello and welcome to Battle of the Brains. I'm Cheryl Miller. Since October, teams from all across the Commonwealth have been competing for this moment. This is our season championship match. Today's teams have bested the dozens of others trying to get to this point and are competing to win a $10,000 scholarship, a trophy, and bragging rights for their school. Our second place team will take home a $5,000 scholarship. And before we get underway, congratulations to this season's other semifinalists, teams from Collegiate School in Richmond and Ocean Lakes High School in Virginia Beach, who each earned a $2,500 scholarship, courtesy of Invest 529 and the E.W. Scripps Foundation. And congratulations to the teams joining us here today. They are playing for the season championship. The academic athletes competing for this season's top honors and a $10,000 scholarship are the Bruins of Blacksburg High School, coached by Mary Louise Moss. Blacksburg High School is in the Montgomery County Public County School System. School officials have high expectations as students prepare to reach their full potential on every level of their life. And congratulations to the Eagles of Jamestown High School, coached by Ryan Gross and Alyn Parham. Jamestown High School is located in James City County, just outside the city of Williamsburg. A public school with about 1,200 students, Jamestown High School also offers advanced placement classes and enrollment at the New Horizons Governor School for Science and Technology. It is great to have all of these students back here with us today for this final match of the season. Our championship match is 3 toss-up rounds and a category round. Players will buzz in and wait for me to call on them before giving their answer. They are allowed to interrupt a question, but an incorrect answer will result in a point deduction, and the other team then gets the chance to answer the completed question if they wait to buzz in. There is no deduction for an incorrect answer to a completed question. All right, students, welcome back. Good luck. Here is the first toss-up round for the championship. What term represents 0 points in a tennis match? Ben?
Love.
That is correct. What was the name of ancient Rome's first imperial dynasty? Will?
Augustus.
That is incorrect. Blacksburg? Brandon?
The Julian dynasty.
That is incorrect. It was the Julio-Claudians. They ruled from 27 BC to 68 AD. He was so fearsome that Eurystheus leapt into a jar when Heracles brought it back as the first of his 12 labors. Name this... Rishi.
Hercules.
That is incorrect. I'll finish for Jamestown. Name this 3-headed guard dog at the gates of Hades. Will.
Cerberus.
That is correct. He is known in China by his honorary title, Master Kung or Master... Brandon.
Confucius.
That is correct. The philosopher of the Chu dynasty. Which future U.S. president commanded the Union armies during the Civil War? Will.
Ulysses Grant.
That is correct. They lie in the ultraviolet and correspond to a state N sub F of 1 in the Rydberg formula. They are the only part of the hydrogen spectrum with higher energies than the Balmer series. Identify this series of spectral lines. Rishi.
Lyman.
That is correct. Much of this man's early writing is set in Latin America. Name this author whose collection, The 4 Million, includes The Gift of the Magi. Rishi.
O. Henry.
That is correct. You may need your pencil and paper. What is log base 3 of 9 divided by log base 5 of 125? Ben.
2/3.
That is correct. By what name is the wire inside an incandescent electric light bulb known? Brandon.
Filament.
Correct. The Cuban Missile Crisis nearly culminated in a nuclear confrontation between the U.S. and the Soviet Union. Ben.
Cuba.
That is incorrect. I'll finish the question for Blacksburg. In what year did this crisis take place? Samson.
1963.
That is incorrect. It was 1962 under John F. Kennedy. A 19th century poet. Name this author of I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud. Ben.
Longfellow.
That is incorrect. I'll finish for Blacksburg. Also, Imitations of Immortality, which contains the lines, though nothing can bring the hour of splendor in the grass. Samson.
Milton.
It was actually Wordsworth, William Wordsworth. Meringue is a dessert topping consisted of a baked mixture of beaten egg whites and sugar. Spell meringue. Eli.
M-E-R Ingue.
And that is correct. All right, teams, this is only one of the questions that in the game that you cannot interrupt, or there is a 10-point penalty for an early buzz-in. Here's a member of the Battle of the Brains Brainy Bunch with a question for you.
What governing body was established in Jamestown in 1619?
Will.
The House of Burgesses.
That is correct. In the human body, the pituitary gland, the adrenal gland, and the pancreatic glands are all types of what system? Thomas.
Endocrine.
That is correct. Their function is to secrete hormones into the blood. The chrysanthemum throne is reserved for the monarch of which ancient nation? Will.
Japan.
Correct. Pure examples of these molecules contain a 1 to 2 to 1 ratio. Samson.
Carbohydrates.
That is correct. The first women's rights convention was held in Seneca Falls, New York. Will.
1848.
That is incorrect. The first women's rights convention was held in Seneca Falls, New York in 1848. It was not until 1920, however, that the amendment guaranteeing U.S. women the right to vote was passed. What is the number of this amendment? Brandon.
19th.
Correct. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency was established in 1970 by an executive order. Brandon.
Richard Nixon.
That is correct. By which president? And that buzzer is the end of our first toss-up round. Good job by our team so far, but a lot more questions to come. Up next, we'll introduce today's players and learn a little bit about them. Then they'll take on the category round here on Battle of the Brains in this championship match.
Miss a week of Battle of the Brains? Want to catch up on the full season of play? Find full episodes on our YouTube channel. Welcome back to Battle of the Brains.
Here are the scores following the first toss-up round here on Battle of the Brains. Our team from Blacksburg High School with 70 points. Our team from Jamestown High School with 40 points. And we'll get back to our match just ahead. But first, let's introduce you to today's championship match players. First, our team from Blacksburg High School. They are the Bruins. Their coach is Mary Louise Moss. Our first player to introduce to you is Eli Zamunda, who is a junior, is a cross-country runner, an avid musician, and also a radio DJ. Brandon Hu is a senior who enjoys swimming, reading, and folding origami and will be attending Duke University this fall. Congratulations. Rishi Nair is the team captain, is a senior, enjoys playing chess, tennis, and ping pong, and will be attending UVA this fall. Congratulations to you. And wrapping up our team from Blacksburg is sophomore Samson O, who likes to ice skate and play chess. That is our Blacksburg High School team. Good to have you here for this championship match. Now, our team from Jamestown High School. The Eagles are coached by Ryan Gross and Alin Parham. First up is Will Ziegler, who is a sophomore, is an active participant in the theater, orchestra, SCA, and Scholastic Bowl, and is also a second-degree black belt in Taekwondo. Our team captain is Ben Gershowitz, who is a junior, is on the tennis team at his high school and on Scholastic Bowl team, enjoys playing the cello, trivia, and enjoys mathematics as well. Senior Thomas Fleming is a musician, also plays the trombone in the school's marching band and enjoys learning new languages and playing bridge. And wrapping up our team from Jamestown is Nicholas Ray, who is a sophomore who plays bass drum for the Jamestown Marching Band, enjoys history, science, and Legos. And that is our championship team from Jamestown High School. Now our teams will play the category round, and they will each select one 10-question category from today's choices. If a team gets all of its questions correct in the allotted time, they'll receive a 20-point bonus. Teams, take a look. Here are the categories from which you may choose. They are
For that. Okay, yeah. Should we do animal? Yeah.
We're going to do animals.
all right. I will give you a scientific classification. You name what specific animal is represented. The first is bovine.
Cow.
Cows.
Correct. Ovine.
Like sheep.
Sheep.
Correct. Equine.
Horse.
Horse.
Correct. Leonine.
Lion. No. Wait.
Leonine is a lion. That would be Panthera leo.
I can try it though.
Yeah, sure.
Lion.
Correct.
Oh, what?
Canine.
Dog.
Correct. Asinine.
Anything?
It's like the land animal.
A snake.
That would be donkeys, mules, hinnies, or ass. Apiarian.
Like bees, right?
Wait, did he say apiary or apiary?
AP.
Okay, then
Bees.
snake.
That is correct. Cervine.
Snake.
Snake.
That would be deer or reindeer or roebucks or even moose or elk. Piscine.
Oh, fish.
Fish.
Correct. And finally, saurian.
I guess like lizard maybe. Yeah.
Lizard.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Good job on your category. All right, our team from Jamestown. Will you like 1500 to 1510 or language of literature? Ben, talk it over with your
Which one do you
team.
feel better about?
I'm saying literature.
We'll do literature.
Okay, in which European language was each of these works, well-known classic works, first written? The first is the Divine Comedy.
Italian. Italian?
That is correct. A Doll's House.
It's Norwegian. Norwegian.
Correct. Chronicle of a Death Foretold.
Any idea? German.
That would be Spanish. Goethe's Faust.
It's got to be
That's
German,
German.
right? Yes. German.
Correct. Don Quixote.
Spanish.
Correct. 6 characters in search of an author.
It's somewhere from the north. Watch like Swedish. Danish. Italian.
Italian is correct. Beowulf.
Old English.
Old English.
Old English or Anglo-Saxon is correct. The Brothers Karamazov.
Russian, right? Yeah. Russian.
Correct. The Diary of Anne Frank.
German. No, unless it's Polish. Yes, I'd be Dutch.
The Diary of Anne Frank.
German.
Be Dutch. And finally, Waiting for Godot.
It's French.
It's in French.
Yes.
Even the author's English. Okay. Yeah. French.
That is correct. Well, good job on your category as well. Good job by our both of our teams in the category round. Up next, we'll tackle another toss-up round when Battle of the Brains Championship returns.
Battle of the Brains is always available. Find full episodes on YouTube and follow Battle of the Brains on social media. Welcome back to Battle of the Brains.
Here are the scores following the category round here on the Battle of the Brains Championship match. Our team from Blacksburg High School with 110 points. Our team from Jamestown High School with 80 points. And now it's back to Battle of the Brains and another toss-up round. But first, a reminder to our teams, you do lose points if you interrupt a question with an incorrect answer. The other team can ring in to answer a completed question if they choose. And there is, of course, no conferring in the toss-up rounds. Here we go. What is the term for the usually handheld wooden surface on which artists mix? Will.
A palette.
Correct. What letter designation was given to German submarines in World War? Rishi.
U.
Correct. In World War II. The upper jaw in humans is called the maxilla. Will.
The mandible.
That is correct. That's the name of the lower jaw. You may need your pencil and paper to figure this out. Find the length and width of a rectangle whose perimeter is equal to 160 centimeters and its length is equal to triple its width. Ben.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes, I can. Find the length and width of a rectangle whose perimeter is equal to 160 centimeters and its length is equal to its triple its width.
1,400.
That is incorrect. The width is 20 centimeters and the length is 60 centimeters.
Do we not get the balance?
You may need your pencil and paper again. How do you express the fraction 3/8 as a decimal? Brandon.
0.375.
That is correct. What work by Homer deals with a hero's attempt to return? Will.
The Odyssey.
Correct. What transformation is represented by the changing of every vertex of a geometric figure by mapping it to a... Ben.
Reflection.
That is correct. Mapping it to a corresponding image across a line of symmetry. Name the biblical figure whose death at the hands of Delilah came after a bad... Will.
Samson.
Correct. After a bad hair day. In the first serious internal threat to the United States government under the Constitution, George Washington led federal troops to put down an uprising in western Pennsylvania. Nicholas.
Whiskey Rebellion.
Correct. It was in the 1790s. Although the United States did not appoint one until 1893, what is the highest rank in the diplomatic service? Thomas.
Secretary of State.
That is incorrect. Blacksburg? Rishi?
Secretary of Foreign Affairs.
It's actually ambassador. This force acts only on fermions, particles with half-integer spin. It is mediated by W and Z particles. Ben?
The weak force.
That is correct. Bastogne, an important crossroad town during the Battle of the Bulge, is located in what country? country? Will?
Belgium.
That is correct. All right, teams, here's another video question from a member of our Brainy Bunch.
Patrick Henry is best known for Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death. But what famous case in 1763 also gave him the reputation for being a leading orator?
And Sampson?
The defense of the Boston Massacre.
That is incorrect. Jamestown? It was called Parsons' Cause. You may need your pencil and paper to solve this word problem. A rock group has released an experimental CD with 7 tracks. The first track is 2 minutes long. Each track thereafter is 1 minute longer. Brandon?
27.
That is incorrect. I'll finish the question. The first track is 2 minutes long. Each track thereafter is 1 minute longer than the one before it, and there is no time between the tracks. How long in minutes is the album? Will?
35 minutes.
That is correct. Operation Desert Storm was a... Ben?
Kuwait.
That is correct. That drove the forces of Iraq out of Kuwait. What country is the native habitat of the giant panda? Will?
China.
Correct. In 1915, she published her first novel, The Voyage Out. Later works include her defense of feminism, A Room of One's Own. Brandon?
Virginia Woolf.
That is correct. And that buzzer means one more toss-up just ahead, and we'll double the point value. Stay tuned to see which team will be this season's champions here on Battle of the Brains, earning a $10,000 scholarship.
Love Battle of the Brains? Ready for your high school team to play next season? Go to battleofthebrains.net to learn more. Welcome back to Battle of the Brains.
Here are the scores as we head now into this final round of this season's championship match on Battle of the Brains. Our team from Blacksburg High School with 130 points. Our team from Jamestown High School with 190 points. And for this final toss-up round, a point score for a correct answer is now doubled, but so is the penalty for an incorrect answer given before I finish the question. There is no deduction for an incorrect answer to a completed question. Good luck, teams. This is our final toss-up round. This Richmond, Virginia native wrote the massive best-selling novel, A Man in Full. Name this author who also wrote The Right Stuff and Bonfire of the Vanities. Rishi?
Wolf.
Tom Wolfe is correct. What is the term for a substance that lowers the activation energy of a reaction? Brandon?
Catalyst.
That is correct, by providing an alternate reaction pathway. For a moving object, it's equal to the product of velocity and applied force. Ben?
Momentum.
That is incorrect. In general, it is the time rate at which energy is added or removed. Name this quantity measured in watts. Brandon?
Power.
Correct. Many years before blimps became fixtures at major sporting events, a man named Charles... Will?
Zeppelin.
That is incorrect. A man named Charles patents a process for vulcanizing rubber required for those inflatable airships. What was Charles's last name? Brandon?
Goodyear.
That is correct. One of Manhattan's biggest tourist attractions is this area within Central Park that takes its name from John Lennon's song about an orphanage in Liverpool, England. What is the name of this park? Eli?
Strawberry Fields.
That is correct. What is the name of protein made by the pancreas that reduces... Rishi?
Insulin.
Correct, reduces the blood sugar levels. You may need your pencil and paper to solve this, and don't forget proper units and significant digits. Use 10 meters per second squared for G. What is the gravitational potential energy of a 1.5 kilogram mass at a height of 6.0 meters? Ben?
90.
That is correct, 90 joules. Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent, was the chief god and hero of what? Brandon?
Aztecs.
That is correct, the Aztec civilization. Water, water everywhere, nor any drop to drink. Rishi?
Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner.
Correct, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. In 1974, it witnessed the only time in American history when both the President and Vice President of the United States were not elected by the people. Who was that Vice President? Will?
Gerald Ford.
That is incorrect. Blacksburg? Eli?
Roosevelt.
It was actually Nelson Rockefeller. The president was Gerald Ford. Its discoverer, Daniel Rutherford, called it noxious air as it would not sustain mice placed in a sealed bell jar. Brandon.
Carbon dioxide.
That is incorrect. I'll finish the question. Now usually isolated by fractional distillation of liquefied air, it is a reagent in the Haber process.
No.
Name this most abundant gas in the Earth's atmosphere. Ben.
Nitrogen.
Correct. Who invented the mechanical variety of a reaper in 1831? Will. And that is time. Blacksburg. Samson.
Eli Whitney.
It was Cyrus McCormick. What is the second longest river in the United States? Thomas.
Mississippi.
Correct. The Missouri is number 1. Who is the first non-president of the United States to be honored with a major monument on the National Mall in Washington, D.C.? Will.
Martin Luther King.
Correct. It was dedicated in 2011. You may need your pencil and paper. What is the third smallest prime number? Ben.
5.
Correct. Name the element represented by the letter K. Brandon.
Potassium.
That is correct. While Elvis Presley never won a Grammy Award in the pop music category, he did win 3 in what other category? Will.
The country music category.
That is incorrect. Blacksburg. Eli.
The R&B category.
It's actually in the gospel music category. Forms of this process include affinity and high-performance liquid. Name this process. Brandon.
Chromatography.
That is correct. Separating compounds that also have gas and thin layer variants. And that buzzer is the end of our round. While our judges double check the final score, here's a reminder of how to stay connected with us here at Battle of the Brains.
Stay up to date on Battle of the Brains. Follow along as your favorite teams advance this season. Visit battleofthebrains.net to learn more and follow along at Battle of the Brains on social media. Join us next week on Battle of the Brains for our very special 23rd season All-Stars match.
Ending our match with a final score of 250 points is the team from Jamestown High School. Congratulations. Y'all did a great job all season long and have earned a $5,000 scholarship for your school, courtesy of Invest 529 and the E.W. Scripps Foundation. Great job all season long by Will, Ben, Thomas, and Nicholas. With a final score of 310 points, our winners of Battle of the Brains for the 2025-26 season is our team from Blacksburg High School. Congratulations to Blacksburg and the coaches. Come on up. Mary Louise Moss, congratulations for leading the team through the season. An admirable job all through the rounds this season, besting dozens of teams in the brackets to come out on top. As this season's championship team, you will take home the trophy. This trophy, I'll pass that down to you guys. There you go. The trophy, bragging rights, and a $10,000 scholarship courtesy of Invest 529 and the E.W. Scripps Foundation. Congratulations once again, and hold that trophy proudly. It has been another great season for us here at Battle of the Brains. A big thank you to our producers and production team, the judges, the schools, the coaches, parents, and all of our supporters. I'm Cheryl Miller. Thank you so much for watching and playing along, and we'll see you back here next week as 8 of this season's outstanding academic athletes join us for our annual All-Star match here on Battle of the Brains. Congratulations to Blacksburg.
Game over. Thank you for watching Battle of the Brains, presented by Invest 529.